So when I'm working with clients and they're talking about being in a really long-term stressful situation, so like say a business is downsizing or they've got some big thing going on or COVID, like anything like that, where people are stressed out. There's this thing called the long-term stress response. Do you mind if I get into this?
I love this kind of stuff.
So long-term stress response is kind of the backup system for people who get in when they're under enormous prolonged stress. And all of us have it. We all have it to different degrees, different sensitivities to it. But if you're in a situation that is stressful beyond 6 weeks, this thing usually kicks in and has 3 phases. The first phase is the alarm phase, and it's dominated by your fight or flight, so your sympathetic nervous system. The second phase is called the resistance phase, and that's where you really like tuck in and you can work longer hours. It's when your psychology's gone, okay, this isn't going away, so I need to like steel myself for it. You can work longer hours, you can focus longer, you can collaborate better, you can problem solve more, you can like wake up and be ready to go. So people's ability to manage massive stress and operate super high is in this resistance phase. But the challenge about the resistance phase, it's got all of these things that are from an evolutionary perspective are intended to help us, but they actually put us in great peril. Because your ability to focus and work longer is like super heightened, your desire for sleep reduces. And so you tend to sleep shorter hours, but you also have disturbed sleep because your mind fabricates what I call short circuit thinking, where it creates a problem that can't be solved by thinking, and it's what gets you out of bed. So it's all trying to trick you to work longer, to eat less or to eat more, so to carb load or to preserve things. And there's all of these other tricks. Does this sound familiar from?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So often when I encourage people, because the third stage is exhaustion of this thing, and it's when we have the tricks of that system have caused us to overwork so much that we can't regulate ourselves. And becoming exhausted, when you cross over that threshold into exhaustion, it doesn't mean something terrible is going to happen. It's just your performance starts to dip. But somewhere along the spectrum of exhaustion comes severe burnout. And severe burnout is a mental health event. And so you could be exhausted, and imagine walking through a misty field. And you can see straight ahead, but you can't see your feet. Severe burnout lays within that space of exhaustion. And for some people, it's right after the border of crossing into exhaustion. But for other people, you can be exhausted for a long period of time. But for everybody, severe burnout is out there waiting. So once you hit a severe burnout, it's like a total sharp, unexpected drop, and you're experiencing a mental health event. What I encourage people to do is, if you're in the resistance phase and you're really like, this stress is going to last a long time, you got to focus on what I call the 3Ds. So the first is discipline. Discipline, I simply mean, is that if you think of the quadrants of life and like self-care, it's what I call the pillars of self-care. It's going to be exercise, diet, sleep, and social. And so exercise, I don't mean people like go out and try and get buff. It just means have an appropriate amount of exercise. Diet doesn't mean go on a diet. It's the opposite of that. Just eat a balanced diet with whole foods regularly. Sleep, you got to sleep at least 7 hours a night. And then social, all human beings need around an hour of social engagement a week. And you can split that up across the week however you want, but they need about an hour. You got to have that discipline of having your self-care routine taken care of. The next is distraction. In distraction, the way I refer to it is like the junk food of the mind or the health food of the mind. You need an hour of distraction a day. So whether that's binge watching Love is Blind or reading a book about philosophy, you need to have that. But the last one, and it goes to what you're saying. Sorry, this is a long explanation.
I'm loving it.
The last is disruption. So it's discipline, distraction, disruption. What the point of disruption is when you get super stressed or you get too much on like autopilot in your life, your perspective shrinks. And so if you and I were on a mountaintop and I was looking at like this beautiful 360 view and you were looking at the exact same view, but you had one eye closed and you were looking through like a cardboard tube, we'd be in the same place, but having radically different experiences. One of us would have full perspective and the other one would have ultra limited perspective. The more stressed out we are, the more tight our view gets. And so that thing your friend did for you, which is like take you up on a walk where there's a view and they said literally nobody here cares about you, it's forced perspective.
Love it. Yeah.
Your friend was taking away that cardboard tube and throwing it out. when I was talking about like, I've been playing in bands for all these years, and it's like how I express myself, but it's like, I express myself in such a limited way now, because it's not limited. Actually, let me reverse that. Routine, beautiful. That I don't know if the benefit that I get from, or the joy, or the thing that I draw from it is as beneficial as it once was. Where if I tried something else, it's disruption. I'm doing something that's radically different, and I'm not doing it to like, now I'm going to make myself uncomfortable, but more so it's like, if I want to express myself in a way that's really going to fill up my cup, I should try and get good at something that I'm not already good at and I haven't already had success in. And that's that whole idea of disruption, not just in times of stress, but in life, is I believe is an important way of maintaining proper perspective about like the world around you.
Yeah, like I love watching tattooers do like their disruption or distraction activities, because so much of it does tie back into tattooing. I've seen tattooers take up like tuft gun rug making, or like wood burning, like just the coolest stuff that like ultimately makes you a better tattoo artist. There's nothing in the art world, I feel like, that will make you like a worse tattooer, right? And I love that idea of like, we need to give ourselves permissions to like play and do these like disruptive things, because I have like that ADHD brain. So if I'm not, getting that serotonin hit or that novelty every once in a while, I do love my structure, but if I don't know my novelty, I think that's such a, I don't know, it's such an invigorating way to look at life. Yeah.